After 45 games between 10 teams across 39 days, we are now down to 4 teams in the race for silverware at the 2023 ODI World Cup. 4 teams deserving of reaching the semi-finals have made it through to India, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and to give us 2 mouth-watering semi-finals clashes. Well, Indians and mouth-watering don't stand apart. Thank you for writing that word in. The first semi-final of the 2023 World Cup will be a repeat of the 2019 World Cup semi-final. Yes, the painful semi-final for the fans who witnessed there at Manchester. Sadly, I was there, but this is a part of history as India take on New Zealand at the Wankhede Stadium. The same Wankhede Stadium where Dhoni hit that historic 6 of his life and won India the World Cup trophy in 2011. Well, that was 2011 back then. This is 2023. The host nation, India, breezed past all 9 opponents to reach the semi-finals with unbeaten record. Whereas the runners-up of the 2019 edition, New Zealand, progressed to the next stage with just 5 wins. Well, that's all right. It has been Rohit Sharma's positive intent up front that has helped India get a good head start in the batting effort. Well, and he has seen the well complemented by Shubman Gill, the ever-reliable Virat Kohli, who's topping the batting charts, has been consistent throughout, leading the run-scoring charts for on and on and on. Well, I will cut this English part and get straight to my 4 eminent panelists. David Brooks from London, Paul Dinette from Australia, Noel David from Hyderabad, and Tasmin Granger from Bulawayo via studio. Well, welcome all 4 of you. Let's get on to the brass tacks. Tasmin Granger, what do we have today?
Definitely, very interesting matchup. Like you said, we've been for the past day, I'd say, or even 2, just giving you all the numbers that give you the convincing that this game is definitely set to be as interesting as they come. I believe, we're just in for a real treat today. I don't think it's going to be a day where anybody wants to leave their screens alone. We have the likes of Rohit Sharma going up against, a Trent Boult that's just started firing, and the likes of Tim Southee that have been going at it. We look to see so much from Virat today, and not just him, but Rachin Ravindra as well has been in top form for New Zealand as well. They have more or less, you'd say, a fully fit squad playing today, so definitely an interesting matchup.
Absolutely interesting. I'll go to my colleague right now. David Brooks from London. What time is it, and are you excited enough? Are you wearing the MCC necktie that you usually display?
It's here. Yeah, it's here. It's 6:44 UK time, so the excitement has yet to take over. I need another couple of cups of coffee first.
Well, that's an interesting point right now. I just want to ask you, David, what do you make of the mouth-watering opening semi-final between the 4 teams?
Well, I mean, India 9 out of 9. They should make it 10 out of 10. But who knows, the glorious uncertainty of the game of cricket. I mean, the toss is going to be more important than usual. I'm sure Tasmin will tell us all about the stats. It's interesting that Rohit Sharma was a very calm presence in the press conference last night. He's not bothered by history. He's not bothered by those particular stats. And I like the way he was conducting himself. And I'm sure that calm demeanor will transmit to the rest of the India team, keeping them nice and relaxed. You think of other captains in this tournament who look like they've completely bewildered and confused, and that's a message which gets transmitted to the players. Rohit Sharma's very calm, and I like his approach.
Absolutely, very calm, and you like his approach. Paul Dinette, what has you been impressed so much about the Indian batting, bowling, management, the fans, the stadium, the food, and of course the drubbing in the first match of Australia?
Well, yeah, they've been very, very impressive, India. I'm really looking forward to this match tonight. I mean, the World Cup, I've enjoyed every match, but there's just something about it when both teams have it as sudden death. We don't get that enough in international one-day cricket. And so it's going to be exquisite. I mean, what a great venue to have it at. I've got a friend who's in a cab on the way to the ground out there now, and he's so excited about it. I'm going to be in front of the television very happily for the next 8 to 10 hours without moving. And as to what's so impressive about India, I've said it before, yes, their batting is fantastic. Yes, their spin bowling is fantastic. But for me, it's their fast bowling which has sort of elevated them. It's the best fast bowling attack they've ever had. It's clearly the best fast bowling attack in the world. And I think that's what makes that they cover all bases. But as David said, there is that one real chance that New Zealand have of winning the toss and batting and putting on a big score. And then India, those first 20 overs before the dew kicks in and maybe the batting gets a little bit easier, that would be really interesting to see how they respond to that level of pressure.
Yes, brilliant. Is it the brilliant bowling? Noel David, is it one of the best bowling attacks in the world for India for all time?
Yes, we've been saying this, we have the best bowling attack so far, and we will always look forward for such bowling attacks in the near future. So, because Siraj, Mohammad Shami and Bumrah are the reckon for our country, and hopefully they'll do the job today, which is the key important thing today is the semi-finals. I hope they deliver it.
Yes. Noel, does it make you feel proud to wear the Indian blazer and as a former India international player, especially today when India is leading in all the departments? Noel David, the former India cricketer.
Absolutely, it's a proud moment. It's always loved to wear it, but my blazer is already in a frame in my showcase, so I have to take it out to wear it. But it's a proud moment for India, every Indian and who have represented the country, that look forward that our country is playing the semi-finals, and hopefully, they'll go on to lift the trophy for the third time.
Well, absolutely, for the third time. Roshali, my colleague in Mumbai, Roshali, if you can hear us, the excitement is with the fans. This usually started as the World Cup, but we called it the Fan Cup. What is the fans saying there from Mumbai? You're based out of Mumbai, the actual hub of the action where that is taking place. Roshali, you're at the Wankhede. Wow.
Well, the team India has just made its departure. They have just headed towards the Wankhede Stadium, and this is the Trident Hotel where the team India is
staying.
Made a stay for a while now, and now they are, you can see outside. This Wankhede Stadium is very close from the Trident Hotel, and you can see people who have gathered over here to cheer up Team India. You have seen that Team India just headed for the Wankhede Stadium. How excited you are?
I'm very excited. Yes, we think that India will win the match. That we wish that India will win the match. I'm so excited.
From where you have come here to cheer up?
हिंदी, ओनली हिंदी में मेरे को।
बोलिए, कहाँ से आए हैं आप?
मैं हरियाणा कुरुक्षेत्र से।
आप कुरुक्षेत्र से यहाँ पर हरियाणा से आए हैं आज ये मैच के लिए?
जी, सेमीफाइनल के लिए, और भगवान ने चाहा तो फाइनल में अहमदाबाद मिलेंगे आपको।
So, we have fans over here who have come not only from Mumbai or the different parts of Maharashtra, but also from the Haryana. How excited you are? कितने excited हैं आप? अपनी पूरी टीम इंडिया को अभी पास होते हुए देखा है, विराट कोहली को देखा है।
पूरे एक्साइट है, इसके जैसा मौका फिर दोबारा नहीं मिलेगा देखने का। भारत में वर्ल्ड कप है और ये वर्ल्ड कप अब उठाना है हमें।
वर्ल्ड कप हमारा है, इंडिया।
You are coming here from which part of?
No, I am here from Worli only, but to see the players and to see everything, I have come here. As now Diwali vacations are going, so yeah, this time.
Last day of Diwali, but you think that we will get a chance to burst more?
Yes.
We will lift the World Cup.
Yes.
We will lift the World Cup. India.
We have seen that how fans are excited. We have seen that just Team India has headed for the Wankhede Stadium, and you can see police deployed over here in a huge number, knowing that Team India was supposed to pass from this particular lane This is the iconic place of Mumbai, Marine Drive, where the people have come over here from the different part of the city to cheer up Team India. They are very hopeful that on the home ground, Team India will do a miracle, and at around 2 o'clock the match will start. But before that, these people are standing over here since early morning because of the heavy police deployment. We have seen that this entire lane of Queen's Necklace, that is popular Marine Drive, was completely filled up by the Indian fans, Indian cricket fans who have gathered over here since early morning just to see some glimpse of Indian cricket players and Team India, just to say them best of luck and we are with you. So it's a very cheerful morning. We have seen that large number of people have gathered over here. Now they are heading towards the Wankhede Stadium. Wankhede Stadium is just 1 kilometer away from here. So many of the fans who were standing, over here, now they are heading towards the Wankhede. Are you heading towards Wankhede?
Of course, we are here all the way flown from Ahmedabad to head towards Wankhede because we can't miss this day today. India is playing semi-finals against the New Zealand. So we are very excited and we can't wait for it.
How hopeful you are?
Of course, India, Kohli, रोहित शर्मा, lots of बहुत सारी इच्छा है कि जो वो complete करे और होगा वो. India.
Rishali, I want you to ask the last
India will
question.
of course win.
All right, we'll come back to Rishali in a while. It's the festive fan frenzy that is happening from all across the country. People have congregated outside the stadium, outside the hotel. And now I move on to my colleague in Lucknow, Abhishek Singh, who does know a thing or two about his cricket. Abhishek, if you can hear us, share your views.
Yeah, here we are in Lucknow.
जी अभिषेक, आपकी क्रिकेट की जानकारी बहुत अच्छी है.
We are in Lucknow right now and we are in Lucknow right now and we have some young fans very pretty much excited. We'll ask them क्या लग रहा है आज वानखेड़े की पिच जो है वो रेड सैंड की पिच है, कैसा परफॉर्म करेगी?
बैटिंग पिच है और इंडिया के बैट्समैन अच्छे फॉर्म में इस समय, तो हमें तो यही उम्मीद है कि वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे. और बाकी जैसे वानखेड़े है तो वानखेड़े में बैट्समैन ज़्यादा फायदे में रहते हैं, तो बाकी रोहित शर्मा है, विराट कोहली है, शुभमन गिल है, तीनों टॉप फॉर्म है, तो तीनों अच्छा ही परफॉर्मेंस करेंगे, मुझे यही लगता है.
इससे पहले इंडिया की परफॉर्मेंस जिस तरह रही है, चाहे वो श्रीलंका के साथ या न्यूजीलैंड के साथ, आज क्या उम्मीद कर रहे हैं आप? टॉस जीतेगी तो चेस कराएगी इंडिया?
ग्रुप स्टेजेस में भी जैसे आप देखा था कि न्यूजीलैंड ने सबसे ज़्यादा टक्कर दी थी इंडिया को, तो मैच बहुत अच्छा होगा, अच्छा कंपटीशन होगा दोनों टीमों में. जो टीम पहले टॉस का बहुत महत्व होगा, जो टीम पहले बैटिंग करती है उसका वो जीत सकती है मैच.
Yeah, you can see over here, they are cheering up for India. They are hosting the flag of India. They are waving it around, and we have a dummy World Cup also over here. The girl is a young cricketer, and she is holding up the World Cup. क्या चाहती हैं आप? अभी से वर्ल्ड कप पकड़ रखा है आपने?
मैं चाहती हूँ कि इंडिया 19 को वर्ल्ड कप ही उठाए, रोहित शर्मा और पूरी इंडियन टीम, और इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड को हरा ही दे अब.
बिल्कुल, इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड को हरा दे. दिस इज द वर्ड्स विच एवरीबडी फ्रॉम अक्रॉस द कंट्रीज almost cheering for India. They want India to win the toss and opt for the batting for the pitch. This is a chasing pitch in Wankhede Stadium. That is a home ground of Sachin Tendulkar, used to called the god of Indian cricket. And they are pretty much excited over here in Lucknow also. You can see over here. And this is the picture all over the country. Yeah.
Back to you in a while. We have, as you saw from the pictures and the images from Mumbai, Lucknow. We'll have from Jammu as well, my colleague who's going to join us in a while. But in the meanwhile, let us talk about the stats. I'm sorry, Paul, you'll have to wait for a while before you answer, because today it seems that the fans have taken over the experts and the commentators. But my question to you is, do you see the kind of frenzy that happens in India in any other part of the world when it comes to the big match occasion, something like semi-final, finals?
Not when it comes to cricket. I think you get that sort of atmosphere in football in South America and various parts of the world. But when it comes to cricket, I don't think anything can compete with India. I suppose other parts of the subcontinent potentially. But certainly, when you go to, I've been to the World Cup final in Australia in 2015 and to semi-finals as well, and it's a wonderful atmosphere outside the ground, and it really is special, but it's not quite that same level of real passion and desperation for the home team to win. So, I don't think that anywhere can really compete to an Indian crowd.
Absolutely. Now I've got to shift to London to my friend David Brooks. And not Neil David, but David Brooks in London. David, with the demise of English cricket, as we always discussed, and the lack of intent from the international, your MCC heads and the interesting people, do you think it's time to shift the headquarters of cricket to India?
It's already shifted, and that's clear. The ICC building used to be inside the perimeter of Lord's cricket ground. It's not there anymore. It's in Dubai, and but the real centre of cricketing influence and power is clearly now India. India have 10 times the resources now of other countries, and it's important that they use that to help build the world game, not just India. India needs teams to play against, and we need international cricket to be competitive. Yes, I would like to see India go all the way in this tournament, but I also want to see them being challenged, and that may need the assistance of the so-called Big Three. I mean, it used to be called the Big Three. I think we'll just call it the Big Two now, India and Australia, because England have dropped out of that Big Three. So there's no automatic meal ticket, but I hope that India use this new power and responsibility, to take the whole game forward and bring the other countries with them, protecting 50-over cricket and protecting the international game.
Well, that's an interesting thought. The second part of our segment is where we will go on to the stats, the feedback and this thing. But before we go on to that, Neil David from Hyderabad, I'd like to ask you an important question right now. Noel, what do you think is the stronger part for India? Is it the batting, the bowling?
Well, to be honest, it's both for me, because the bowling has been a revolution lately, but batting always been there. Okay, with Virat, with Rohit Sharma, Shubham Gill, the youngster coming a long way after his 19th, under 19s. So, and the middle order, yes, as we've been talking previously, so the lower order has not been tested. That will be a big question mark in this match. But for me, it will be the batting which will have to put up the score so that the bowling can talk from behind. Because if you don't put a score, then the bowling attack will naturally have pressure on them. Because if we get 220 or odd and depend on the bowlers, then the bowlers will have certain amount of pressure to skittle New Zealand out at 180 or 190 as quick as possible. But it depends on our batsmen now. They need to take the task. They need to put the pressure on the New Zealand Kiwis bowlers. They need to attack them. And the openers, especially Shubham Gill and Rohit Sharma, they're doing their duty well, but they have to continue doing it.
No, David, one more question. We've discussed about the batting, the bowling of India. Somewhere the fielding has been not discussed. Are you satisfied being one of the best fielders of our generation in the domestic circuit?
The fielding has been, you can say, not up to the standard what we expected.
Right.
But yeah, it has been an up and down. Catches are being taken, catches are being dropped as well. The consistency of fielding was not there. There were misfields also. But the consistency has to develop in Indian team, which, I would appreciate Sridhar, who was the fielding coach previously. If you see, he has built up the Indian team as the best fielding side in the country, in the world. And so the momentum is there in the Indian team at present. But the fielding standard a bit has to increase on the field. I know the crowd pressure will be there. A drop catch, always the pressure. The crowd will put pressure. But, once you leave a catch, just forget about it and think about the next which comes into your hand.
Absolutely. A little word. Last evening, yesterday, we spoke about the greatness of Bharat Arun. Do you want to talk at least 30 seconds, devote to Sridhar, the fielding coach, the prior fielding coach, and his legacy that he's leaving behind, before we go on to our big stats?
Absolutely. If you see the Indian team, previously before R could take take up the assignment in 2007 onwards, till he finished till 2 years back or last year. The fielding standard went to a great heights. He has worked on each individual, even the medium pacers he has worked, and has dedicated his time for the Indian team during his potential with the Indian cricket. So I think we all owe a big this thing to R. Sridhar, who's a colleague of mine who we all played together. And he's a genuine hard worker on the field also. And he has put a lot of time, studying what a player needs, how he can go if he's weak, where is he weak. He has studied a lot on the Indian team.
Absolutely.
And then he's worked on each individual. That's why today we set a standard on the field.
Well, yesterday we thanked Bharat Arun, and today we are thanking R. Sridhar for building this team. The unsung heroes, the behind-the-scenes champions of the game, and Newell is giving them the best tribute because he's seen them, known them for close quarters. Now it's the stage for our stats, the program that we are known for and which has been acclaimed for our accurate stats and prediction. And we've got two of the best people in the house, David Brooks, Tasmin Granger, of course, with the aid of Noel David and Paul Dinette. Tasmin, what do you think of the New Zealand side? We've spoken heaps and we praised the Indian team, but what do you want to talk about the New Zealand side right now?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, New Zealand's just been up and down, hot and cold throughout this entire tournament. And they do have history on their side, as it will have it. I'm going to re-mention the fact that there is a curse upon both teams this morning, that they're both trying to look to make a difference and break this morning. That being the curse that India has lost to New Zealand in every semi-final across 4 formats that they've played against each other. And in the same sense, New Zealand has lost to every host nation they've played in the semi-final. So definitely both teams looking to make a bit of a difference. For me, New Zealand, they've been plagued by injuries, as we've mentioned before. And they most probably have the full selection of a fit squad today. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because they have Kane Williamson back in the squad. They have Tom Latham, been able to hand back that pressure of captaincy and see what he can do with it without the captaincy on his shoulders, as well as the likes of a couple of seam bowlers that this is a pitch that definitely will assist them, whether they come and they have a bowl at it earlier on or they have a bowl later. Obviously, being later in the day under the lights, it's expected to move a lot more as compared to in the morning as well, early afternoon, if anything. So I think it's going to be really good to see, Daryl Mitchell, he's been in good touch for them. Devon Conway as well. They've gotten off to great starts but haven't really converted entirely. And what a day to do it then, besides a day against India.
Well, absolutely, what a day. David Brooks. Now, this is our favorite part of the program where we talk about all the possible stats and we look at the team bowling right now. We've spoken about the greatness of Team India and team bowling. My colleague Tasnim is going to join me in a while, but in the meanwhile, 0 to 10, the first 10 overs for India. We've got 8 bowlers, we've taken 19 wickets, we've got the run, we've conceded 384 and the overs are 90. Average runs 43, average wickets are 2. What does it say, Tasneem? And then I'm going to go on to David Brooks. Yeah, Tasneem.
Yeah, definitely. So as for the runs conceded, this alone speaks volumes of the economy rate, most probably in the first power play as well. This we know is credited to the man himself, Jasprit Bumrah as well. He's just been spectacular for me with the new ball. Teams haven't really managed to actually disrupt his form or take away his rhythm or break it, if anything. Again, the current average runs scored against them will tell you again. And they take 1 more wicket as compared to New Zealand in this phase as well. All accredited to the pressure being formed by not getting much runs off him as well. Batsmen tend to try and look around and look for something to create the chances for runs.
We were looking at the dot balls, and Jasprit Bumrah in the first power play bowls around 80% of the dot balls. I mean, where in the world you would get a bowler? David, in your memory, which bowler bowled 80% of the dot balls in the first 10 overs, first 5 overs of the spell? You've interviewed many people, and what do you think of it? Malcolm Marshall, Joel Garner, Andy Roberts. I mean, even in the 60 overs game, I don't think so the bowling was as deadly as what it is now.
I can't think of anyone who bowls like Jasprit Bumrah. That action, it's so unorthodox. The ball comes at you, it takes a while to adjust. It's so difficult to play. And in terms of comparisons with him, I mean, yeah, I think you're right to focus on one of those West Indian quicks that like a Curtly Ambrose that's very difficult to score off. But he didn't have the wicket. I don't think he was as penetrating as Jasprit Bumrah, because Bumrah will get you out. You won't just, you're playing dot balls, but then he'll get you out as well. And if you see him off, you've then got Mohammad Shami running in like a racehorse. He says that when he bowls well, he runs in like a horse, but he's absolutely gliding in at the moment, isn't he? And fast bowlers, when they're on rhythm, there's no better sight. And I'm looking forward to seeing Shami, Bumrah and Shiraz today, because they're making up one of the most potent attacks and most riveting to watch, because every ball is an event. And batters without a defence, Johnny Bairstow, are not going to last very long. So let's see what New Zealand have got today in that top order.
Well, absolutely. What New Zealand has in the top order. We've already discussed what Indian bowling looks like in the top order. Let's look at the 11 to 40 over mark. Tasneem.
Yeah, again, they have the choice of variety. They have used 11 bowlers in this section. This as compared to New Zealand's as well, because they have the likes. They can still bring Mohammad Shami in the middle period of overs if he hasn't opened with Bumrah. Otherwise, they can switch him up and still use Siraj at this point as well in the middle period. 45 wickets as opposed to the 37 of New Zealand. Again, this will tell you that they are constantly attacking and being successful at the attacking that they're doing. Runs conceded just 1,300 less than New Zealand at this point in time as well. And if you just go to the average runs, again, 30 runs on average. So maybe in this period, they may be a bit more expensive. But again, they're still taking 1 wicket more than New Zealand in the middle period of overs, with 5 wickets at this stage and New Zealand on 4. So this for me, is probably the period where New Zealand will look to possibly try and expose the field. The fact that it's in the second power play and the field has been opened up. You've got 4 fielders outside the circle. That means there's more gaps, more chances of being able to run. So New Zealand need to run really hard if this is going to be the period where they capitalize. Because beyond this, they're meeting, like I said yesterday, the same problems they faced at the top are waiting for them in the 41st to the 50th over. At this stage, again, runs conceded for India, 281 only, as opposed to 420 by New Zealand. Again, they're taking an average of 4 wickets in the last 10 overs as opposed to just the 2 of New Zealand. So I believe if New Zealand is going to try anything, they need to try it in this middle period to 11 to 40 overs. Otherwise, they're running a very high uphill battle today.
Well, if I were to tell you in the African language, they bite, they cut, they eat, and they swallow in those 3 parts of the game. Well, I've got an interesting colleague of mine who's Ajay Jandyal, who's currently at Jammu, and he's talking to some of the fans, which is worth listening. So we'll be back into this discussion after a short discussion with Ajay Jandyal. Ajay, if you can hear us. Ajay.
Well, see, right now I am standing here in the CRPF cantonment area, and definitely they are also waiting for the match to start here. You could see that they are holding the tricolor in their hand, and these, jawans of the CRPF, they also always ensure that our flags will remain high, our nation and nationalist people will remain safe. And when it comes to the sports activity, when it comes to the cricket, definitely they too love the cricket, and they are also those who have just finished their duties. They are waiting in the entertainment room for the cricket match to start, and we are also with them. Let's speak to the soldiers over here that what they have to say and how eagerly they also were waiting for the match. Sir, क्या लगता है कितना इंतजार है मैच का?
हमें बेसब्री से इंतजार है कि आज हमारे इंडिया और न्यूजीलैंड का मैच है, और हम बहुत ही उत्साहित हैं कि जल्दी से हम ये मैच शुरू हो और हम इसका लुत्फ लें।
मैच का लुत्फ उठाएंगे। कौन जीतेगा, किस पे उम्मीदें हैं?
विराट कोहली।
विराट कोहली करेगा उसको?
जी।
और इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप जीतेगा, इसकी क्या उम्मीद है?
90% उम्मीद है सर।
पूरी उम्मीद है कि इंडिया जीतेगा। आपको क्या लगता है आज मैच में कौन करिश्मा करने वाला?
विराट कोहली और रोहित शर्मा।
रोहित शर्मा और विराट कोहली
चलेंगे, सेंचुरी मारेंगे दोनों।
और बॉलर में कौन पसंद है?
जडेजा।
अच्छा, और जिस तरीके से लगातार क्रिकेट मैच इंडिया ने जीते हैं, क्या लग रहा है भारत इस बार वर्ल्ड कप लाएगा? भारत में
हाँ, इस बार इंडिया पूरी फॉर्म में है और लगता है इस बार वर्ल्ड कप
India पूरे तरीके से फॉर्म में है. So people, they basically, the CRPF personnel, those who, those who stand up in any of the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, whether it comes to the terrorism and other things, they fight with terrorism very effectively. But when it comes to the
Well, that was my colleague Ajay Jandyal joining us from the Jammu CRPF camp. More importantly, we'll come back to our stats. This is what we are known for. Paul Dinette, the Indian bowling is good in average. They've got a great strike rate and they've got the best economy rate. When you have something like that, talk from the Australian perspective, considering or hypothetically we are meeting Australia in the finals. How would you deal with that kind of pressure from the bowling?
You're talking, Sunil. I'd love an Australia and India final. It's a long way off yet at the moment. Yeah, India they don't have a weakness. That's the thing that's just so frightening. You've got to pick a bowler to attack. Who are you going to attack? You're going to attack Kuldeep Yadav. Well, good luck. You do that, you're likely to get yourself out. Siraj is the other one that potentially you could attack. But again, as I said, 5 absolute stars. I suppose the only thing that you could say that there is a potential concern for India is that they do have that top 5. Then below that, they fall away a little bit without a recognised kind of another all-rounder in the side to take things over. If one of them does happen to get injured or have an off day, then maybe there's a slight weakness there. And it's probably the same with their batting as well. They're very much a traditional side. They've got specialist batters and specialist bowlers and not a great deal of overlap. But if the Australian batters were to be facing them in the final, then all I can hope is that they can not be in a situation, and I've said this before on this show, where we lose a couple of quick wickets and suddenly it's someone like Marcus Stoinis, who I love. He's a good-looking man, but if he's coming out to bat facing Jadeja on a turning pitch, I start to have to hide behind my couch before I can watch it.
Absolutely, of course. Well, believe the left-handers to do it. Remember the 1987 Reliance Cup where Alan Border with his left arm spin got the better of Mike Getting, was trying to reverse sweep him in 1987, and then the floodgates open. Well, I'd like to ask Noel David. Noel, if you have the economy like this, if Indian bowling, where would you seem to attack them? Because from 0 to 10, Indian economy, bowling economy is at 4.31 as compared to almost 6 of New Zealand. Between 11 and 40, you have 444 as compared to 5.29. And between 40 and 50, very important here, India is at 5:45 and New Zealand is actually at 7, almost there. So where do you attack India? Which bowler can you go in for? Considering that, I'll come back to the other David and ask him about 2 of the statements which Atherton and Nasir Hussain made as the Indian Achilles heel. But that is later. Right now, Indian bowling seems to be reeling between 4.5 and 5:45 rate. Your views, Noel David?
Sunil, if you are the batsman, where will you attack? Tell me that.
You know what I would expect? I would hope them for a bad day in the office and I'd say that's it.
But so far the Indians have never had a bad day. And hopefully they won't not have today. All right. And they are packing. They are, the India with Rahul being behind this team, I think he has done a great job in selecting what the players, what he needed. He had studied them. He has worked with them. And that's why he was very shrewd with the BCCI saying that he needs his team. He doesn't want anything else. He will pick his team and give the selectors, and the selectors should nod it. And that's why today we are successful. I don't think, as Paul rightly said, there's nothing that you can find lacking in the Indian batting or Indian bowling. But yes, as I said, it will be the testing time. If there is early wickets, 1 or 2 or 3, then the lower middle order will come in play. So that will be a little problem because they're not being tested. That will be a little bit of weak point where we'll be lacking. But comes to the bowling, we have Sir Jadeja. He is a full dynamo package for us. He can bowl, he can bat, he can feed. We have Kuldeep, who's another revolution for the Indian team. We have Siraj, we have Shami, and Bumrah. Bumrah, after his injury, he has proved that no injury can stop him from playing for the country.
Absolutely.
So India is all the way.
Well, even India included the injury management, and they kept that in mind also. I've got a question for David Brooks, the other David. David, if you can hear us.
Yes, I can.
Before the game started, there was a sermons that were passed from Sky Cricket, and we had Mike Atherton and Nasser Hussain famously saying that India sadly has a team where the batters can't bowl and the bowlers can't bat. And because of the copyright issues, we can't show it on television right now, but those were the famous predictions of the highest paid cricket pundits saying that was India's Achilles heel, and they belong to your country and your place where they watch most of the matches and they only move out on the ICC. Do you think their assessment was wrong, like the Indian batting, of reading the Indian pitches? Your views?
Well, they clearly have forgotten a certain Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, he does both. And he's dug India out of trouble on countless occasions. I mean, he would get into the England team either as a batter or a bowler. He'd walk in. So I don't agree with that. It's England who've picked all the bits and pieces players. If Mike Atherton and Nasser Hussain feel so strongly about this, they should have influenced the selection of England. And because it's all their mates. Robert Key, in charge of English cricket, he was in that Sky commentary box with them. You know, so there's a very cosy relationship between the broadcaster Sky and the England team. So I suggest they perhaps direct their attention on the shortcomings of the England team, because if you're looking for it there, I think they're looking in the wrong place, because Jadeja is the all-rounder that gives this team the balance. If our Ashman was playing, I'd say the same thing. He's dug them out on many occasions too.
We famously left out the best all-rounder of ODI, Hardik Pandya. What are your views on something as brilliant player as he was when he's fully fit?
Well, when he's fully fit, and he hasn't been fully fit for a while. He had a chastening experience in the Caribbean, captaining India to a T20 defeat against the West Indies just last year. So, no, I don't think India are missing him. I think they would have missed other players, but I don't think they're missing him.
Well, absolutely. Paul, this brings to a bigger question and a larger debate. You know, you've got the highest paid pundits who give their assessment, and there are fans who are just going all around, quoting them and eulogizing them and just saying good things about them. Do you think it's time, finally, to let go of these pundits who just armchair, don't do their research, and just go on and they talk about facts and figures that have been fed to them by some statistician or somewhere from there, and they miss out on the context? Your views?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of pundits out there who dial it in. Sometimes it's the ex-players that you sometimes think, well, you were a wonderful batter or you're a wonderful bowler. The odds that you will then be a wonderful pundit, who gets blessed with two such amazing skills in life? But I think if we're talking specifically, and my internet froze a bit, but we're talking specifically about Atherton and Hussain, they're my two favourites. So I'll never hear a bad word said about them. And I think that there has been some talk in Australia about a quote that Nasser Hussain said that, England, it's hard for England because they've got to deal with the Ashes and the World Cup in the same year, to which every Australian has said, so do we. But then Hussain actually responded on Twitter saying, no, that was taken out of context. Listen to the whole thing and you'll see that I made a pretty balanced point. So, yeah, I think that Paul, Atherton and Hussain are my two favourites.
Paul, that's their insurance policy. In the Women's World Cup, when famously Harmanpreet Kaur was run out, he called it like a village girl, school girl and a village girl mistake. And then when it was put on the context, he said, no, I was misquoted. But clearly in the commentary box, they are very clear, they're very cut, and they're very dry. But when you could go back to them and quote them, the same thing, they just cry victim. Do you think it's a good precedence?
If you want to go through all the commentators, I will have a lot of criticism of a lot of them, because a lot of them, it really annoys me. But you've just happened to pick my two very favourites, and so I find it hard to criticise them. I'd love very much to one day get to have dinner with Atherton and Hussain. It'd be a great night. So yeah, pick anyone else and I'll criticise them, but not those two.
Absolutely. Well, you've got your personal favourites. You're a biased podcaster, I would say, for some instance. But right now, it's time for us to connect with Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, Virat Kohli's coach, and let's understand what's his view of the entire match today. he's presently at the stadium right now, but we'll also ask him about Virat Kohli. So let's play the answers right now, back to back.
Well, I'm very sure the way Indian team is playing, I don't find any problem in winning today's match, because India has peaked at the right time. All the players are in good form. Rohit is giving tremendous start, and then Virat and Shreyas and Rahul are capitalizing on that. So if it continues, I think India should not have any problem. Yes, New Zealand is a good team. I mean, they are very competitive, and in the league stage also we saw that they were the only team with whom we have some serious match. So and even the previous record with them is not very good for India. But I'm very sure with in Indian condition and with so much of fans supporting India, I think India should be through to the finals today.
Well, absolutely. India should make it to the finals. But the talk is impossible without talking about Virat Kohli. I mean, what is your advice, message and suggestion to Virat, the great King Kohli?
Well, the whole country is praying for his 50th 100, and and if it comes today and India wins, nothing like it. It is always good that he contributes for Indian victory with his 100. So even I am praying for that.
Well, the entire country is praying for the 50th 100. Well, it's a great time to have it. Noel David, my friend from Hyderabad. Noel, what is your early memory of Virat Kohli, considering he's the only Indian in this team who's playing the 4th World Cup right now, 2011, 2015, 2019 and 2023. Your views of early memories of Virat Kohli.
First time when I saw this young lad, chubby young lad, playing the 19s in the India 19, he looked very compact during that time itself. Even at that time, what is he now? Still continues the same way. Aggressive, passionate. He wants to give that 100% on the field, whether it's batting and those days during his 19s, he used to bowl a bit, and he still, he has that urge to bowl. And that's why you could see him rolling his arm against the Netherlands. So he's a full packet for the Indian team from the start itself. And once he debuted for India, you could notice the change coming out of him, slow and steady. He concentrated more on his fitness. He started to develop his batting skills more. He started to have patience. His anger management came down a bit. Yes, he continued that aggression, but he was not so wild when what he was doing the 19s. He was ready to go out there and have a little bit of be a little things with the opponents. But now I think he's after his marriage, I think he's come down a bit in that. But hopefully, it'll be an icing on the cake today if he gets his 50th 100.
Well, absolutely. Well, if he gets his 50th 100. Before I let go of all my guests, I'm going to have a quick kind of a poll here inside. Tasmin, who's your favorite team today?
I'm sitting on the fence on this one. Hey, I'm with the likes of anybody that's out here to watch some good cricket today. And I believe that India's got a lot to bring to the table. So it's going to be hard to pick a side, because I know everybody's gunning for a final spot today, and it's a big game.
Absolutely. She's not going to answer. And Paul and David, quickly, if you can tell us. Paul Dinette, who's your favorite today? Who are you rooting for?
My tip is India. I give New Zealand a big chance if they do get to bat first. Who am I rooting for? I respect India so much, I want them to lose, because if Australia do beat South Africa, I'm scared of playing India in the final.
Well, we're going to edit that part of the question and go on to straight to David Brooks. David, what's your favorite right now, and who's the player who's going to stand out?
Well, if India bat first, I think they'll win heavily today. And if they bat second, they'll still win by 5 wickets in about 42 overs.
Well, absolutely. He's got his verdict right. Of course, Noel David, final words from you before we wrap up the show?
I say it's going to be a tough game today. Yes. But it's not going to be easy for both the sides, because the wicket will play a major role. And the toss crucial. It will be very important to win the toss. If New Zealand wins or India wins, I think they will bat first, and because you get the due factor also inside. So I will put my money on both the teams, because I will sit with Hasim on the edge of the fence and watch what's going to happen till the end.
Well, I'm slightly confused here. We've got a confused completely, the panel who's confused me. One Indian player, ex-player, is saying I'm going to put my money on both. The Aussie is certainly not helping India to win, because he's saying he doesn't want Australia to lose in the final. And we've got an UK citizen who wants to take the Indian citizenship by promoting and being the cheerleader of India. Well, that's all we had time for. We had stats, we had quotes, we had the best anecdotes, and we had the CRPF Jawans from Jammu joining us and cheering for India.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.